Good afternoon, welcome back to Rich on Crypto. Today we're going to be taking a look at different signs that we can look for to see whether or not a coin or a token is or has potential for some upside action to occur. So looking at our first coin here, we're looking at Sol. Sol's been performing quite well. Obviously, has come down during that dump, but it's a coin that has persistently done quite well. But today's subject we're going to be talking about is ascending triangles. What to look for, how to see whether one's going to be potentially occurring. As I say, these are always potentials. There's never any guarantee to say that this will happen. All it takes is a bad turn from Bitcoin, and everything else will follow it downwards. So as we look at our 4-hour chart, and these ascending triangles can form on any time period, whether it be a 1-day chart, a 5-minute chart, and as I say, the 4-hour that we're on here. All I will say is that there is potential for more upside the larger the time frame. So if I was to see an ascending triangle form on, say, a daily chart or a 4-hour chart, you're more likely, if that comes to fruition, to make larger gains than you would if you saw an ascending triangle on a 5-minute or a 1-minute, for example. So in order for us to identify, what we're looking for is a near enough a level top, okay, which we've got kind of going here on Sol. So as you can see here, and it is cutting through wicks, but we can do that when we're looking at ascending triangles. So Sol is something that's currently in the midst of executing this ascending triangle. Okay, so we'll draw our line along the top. So we've got a nice level line going along there. And the second thing that we're looking for in our ascending triangle is to find an increase in price along a bottom channel. So we can see here, if we were to draw our line there, and let's just bring in a little pen so we can see. So we've entered our triangle, we've hit resistance, come back down, and near enough hit a bottom resistance before coming back up, hitting that top resistance, coming back down, hitting the bottom resistance, up, down, hitting the bottom resistance, coming up. We haven't quite made the top there before coming back down, and then hitting here. So what you can see is that we keep hitting this line. We keep hitting this line, all right, whilst price is on the increase, i.e. making higher lows, okay, and that's what we're looking for. That's atypical of the action you would see to complete an ascending triangle. And as you can see here, you would potentially either come back down, try it again, and then you would come up, or on the fourth occasion, as we've seen right here, the price has gone through that top resistance there, and what we could potentially see is that come down, and you would notice this more perhaps on a lower time frame if we were to go to an hour or 15 minutes before that price then takes off again. It's not uncommon whatsoever for a price to recheck that resistance line before then going onwards and upwards. So I mean, let's have a look. I haven't looked at the 15-minute frame there, but what we could potentially see. So if we come off our drawing tool, and what have we got here? We've seen. So we can see that price is kind of stuttering a little on this period. So as I say, there's potential for it to come down and check that resistance before coming back up and onwards and upwards. So now that we've seen what Sol is doing, we can have a little look at storage, which was something that I noticed earlier. So if we come to storage here, go to our 4-hour time frame again, which is a nice one to see for this occurring. It's quite a reliable time frame, I find, the 4-hour chart. So this, as I say, is storage on the 4-hour chart. And again, what we've been seeing, if we draw our line, was a line of resistance there. In fact, we're going to move that up just a smidge to meet with the top of the wicks there. And then again, we can see with our ascending price tag, I've got the magnet on, which is why you could just see that kind of stick to the bottom of that wick. But you can see here, and I'll bring this one out so we can see where it started in the triangle. Bring that over here so my magnet's not playing silly buggers. And again, very much the same kind of action. So we've entered into our triangle, hit that resistance line, come back down and nicely hit the trend line that's going up, worked our way back up for a number two, a second hit, back down, and then on our third strike we've come up. And as you can nicely see on storage, we've actually remade or rechecked that resistance into a support line before storage is now continuing on and upwards. Okay, so what ones can we expect this kind of action to take place on? So let's take a little look at NEO, and we'll come to a nice fresh chart on NEO. And again, sticking with that 4-hour chart, all right, you can see here, if we just focus on this last little bit, obviously, because we're looking at what may happen, and in fact I'm going to turn my magnet off so that doesn't cause you or cause me any grief. So we're looking for that level playing field. Yes, you will get candles that come over and then dip back down, but what I will show you is that no trend line is totally broken until there's a breakaway candle that does not come into contact with that line or that area. So as we can see here, those, albeit you could say, well, you've broken that trend line, we haven't, because all 4 of those bars at some point come into contact. So we have not passed that area of resistance. Okay. So let's bring that into view again, and we'll make it slightly bigger so we can see what we're doing. So as I say, so we've drawn our area of resistance here on NEO, and if we start down here, we can see that we've got that increasing area of lower highs. Okay, or sorry, higher lows, not lower highs, higher lows. So we've got one here, we've technically made another one there, another one here prior to that final check, and we're currently in the midst of, as I say, NEO checking that resistance area. I would fully expect NEO to come up, come back down before making off with our with any potential gains. Okay, so we can see that one's currently playing out on NEO. As soon as that does come down and recheck, so for example this area here, that would be the point at confirmation, and that is the point that I would be putting a long in even to see the gains that can be made on that. All right, so let's have another look at another one, and we're going to go with ALGO on this, which is another one that I saw earlier. So immediately in this zoomed in 4-hour, you can see that we'll draw our line, okay, from there, which will cut straight through. Okay, so we've got a little wick there, but otherwise we've near enough tested it. We're just a few cents short on that one, but we've had 1, 2, 3, and currently on a 4th retest there. So we can see, if we look at if we draw a trend line, and again these aren't exact, but it just goes to show what I'm thinking. Okay, so we've got a low, we've got a higher low, a higher low, and a higher low. Okay, so there are four occasions this has come down and rechecked our ascending resistance line, as I say, and near enough 1, 2, 3, and currently 4. Okay, so if we get rid of those, what again I would see, we could potentially dip down on this ALGO one before retrying, coming back down, and then off we go. Now I like it when it does come back down and check resistance, but it doesn't always. Sometimes you might find that it would come down and then it would just, off you go. Okay, it doesn't always come back to check those that resistance line. All right, it's just a good indicator if it does, that it's then found it as support, which is a confirming indicator in my mind. Okay, so we've done NEO, we've done ALGO. Did I see HOT earlier? I think if we go to, let's go to who, in fact not Huobi, because for some reason on HOT, Huobi has got a little spike. So we're going to see, we'll stick with perpetual futures on Binance, because we can see that, because there's all kinds of rubbish on my own chart. So again, we're sticking with the 4 hour. All right, and we're going to start back here with this one. Okay, there's lots of touches that have occurred, and again you can see that resistance line, and if we start here you can see that we've got that ascending price action. All right, so just to confirm it again with you, in case you haven't, you're still thinking about it or you want to draw along with, we've had 1, 2, 3 and then 4 strikes coming down on that ascending price action line there, which you could argue is your resistance. And then if we look at our our upper resistance line, we've had 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to come back to that in just a minute, 4, 5, skew with circle, and then a second time. Right, so just a minute ago I said to you that a trend line hasn't been, or a resistance line hasn't been broken all the time that a bar is in contact with that. Okay, so yes, I get that 1 and 2 have broken that resistance line. However, there was a lot of sell pressure on this particular bar, sell pressure on this bar, which has pushed that price down to come back under the resistance to come back up. All right, so it's all about that confirmation. So it could have happened here, but there was no confirmation by the price going back up. The price fell through, okay, which has invalidated our ascending triangle at that point. But I would still expect to see, if it doesn't push through on this occasion, is for that price to come down, recheck, through resistance, retry, and then off you go. Okay, so I hope I've made that clear, and I've given you 3 coins there, HOT, NEO and ALGO, where I would expect for that ascending triangle to play out and for us to have profits once it's come back, tested that support zone, but that resistance as support. But as I say, it doesn't always happen, but entry is at your own risk. Okay, if you like what you've seen, leave me a comment, click like, give us a subscribe and a follow. Okay, and as ever, this is not financial advice, it's just things I'm looking at. But yeah, if I get confirmation of these, then I personally will be putting a little bit of my money in to see if we can achieve some of those gains. All right, thanks very much for listening, guys and girls. You take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next episode.